Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to do circular beaded crochet for left-handed crocheters. So what you're going to need is to have your string, and you're going to have your beads. What I'm using here is just Eslon nylon string, and I have size 6 seed beads on here. The circular crochet with beads kind of looks like a beaded kumihimo. It's just solid beads, so your cord will only show a little tiny bit through, and it'll be mostly beads. I am using 4 colors of beads, and it's gonna really help you if you can use 4 colors when you're learning how to do this, to keep your place, basically, so that you know that the next place you need to go in is the next color. For this size bead and string, I have a size 6 crochet hook. So first you need to string your beads and string them in order. Mine, I have strung red, dark blue, yellow, turquoise. Red, dark blue, yellow, turquoise. So if you happen to have those colors of beads, it would be even easier to follow me. If you don't, then just substitute out the colors that you have and keep those in mind when you watch how I do this. So just for the purposes of showing you, I've just strung that many. It's really going to depend on how long your piece is going to be, how many beads you'll need. You might want to just do a little swatch and say, like, okay, for an inch I need this many beads, count them up to know exactly how many you'll need if you're not following a pattern that gives you the number. So you also need to know how to do a chain stitch crochet, and specifically beaded chain stitch. And we do have a video on how to do that for lefties also. So if you don't know how to do that, go ahead and watch that first and do some practice on that. So once you have your string and you have your beads on your string, go ahead and make a slip knot by making a loop and pulling on the end, but don't pull all the way through, and pull that tight. And you want to leave yourself a nice tail, about 6 inches there. And go ahead and pull that tight. This is just like chain stitch so far. And the first thing we're going to do is chain stitch. So the first step to do, we're doing a 4 bead circular crochet. So you can do different ones. I'm doing one that has 4 around. So the first thing you're going to do is do 4 beaded chain stitches in a row. You're not going to skip any between, you're just going to do 4 beads in a row. So go ahead and grab a bead every time for the first 4 stitches. Okay, so you have your first 4 chain stitches with a bead in each one, like that. And the next thing you're going to do is take the tail and pull it up so that you want your chain stitches along the top and your beads hanging along the bottom. Then you're going to take your hook and you're going to put it into the loop of the first bead. For me, that's a turquoise bead. And when you pull it through, you want to take your turquoise bead, your bead 1, and put it to the left. Then you're going to bring your string up between this last red bead before and the turquoise bead. So bring it over here on the left. Then you're going to drop down the next turquoise bead, the next bead 1. And it's going to kind of sit right on top of the one before. And then bring your string across your hook, and you're going to do a slip stitch, which means you're going to pull that loop through both of the loops that are already on your hook. Then you're going to go to the next color, which is why it's important to color code when you're learning. Then our next bead is yellow. So go to your bead 2 And you want to make sure that you put your bead to the left of the hook and that your string is coming between that bead and the one before. So you want to make sure that it's always coming up right between those two beads here, and that this is over to that side. And you're going to drop the next bead. And again, you can see that you're working with one that's going to sit right on top of the same color of the one below. And then bring your thread to the right across the hook and make another slip stitch. Pull your hook through both of the loops on the hook. And you're going to do the dark blue bead, or the third bead next, the third color. So through that loop, move the bead to the left. Bring your string between that bead and the one previous. Drop down the next bead, should be the same color as that next one there on the hook. And then bring your thread around and make a slip stitch. Next is the red one. That's the last one from our original 4 beads. Bring the bead to the left. Bring your string up between that bead and the next. Drop down the next bead. Bring the string over the hook and pull it through. So that's the first row. But you're doing this in a spiral, so you don't really have much of a change between rows, but those are the first 4, so that is the first row. To continue, you're just going to keep going right around. So the next color in the pattern is turquoise. So you bring your hook through that loop, bring the bead to the left, drop the bead down, and make a slip stitch. And then just keep going to the yellow. Put your hook through, bead to the left, string between, drop your bead down, and make a slip stitch. And that's all that there is to this. It is kind of tricky to figure out the first time. I've crocheted for years and years and years, and this was tricky for me to get the hang of. But it's kind of one of those things that has an aha moment. It will be really hard to understand until all of a sudden it makes sense. And then it will be very simple. So you can then move on to projects that don't use 4 colors. You can use 1 color, you can use 2 colors. When you work in this way, it gives you a really pretty spiral pattern, so you can decide how you want to arrange your beads best for the pattern. So there's a little bit more of it. What you mostly see is the beads, and depending on what size hook you use, what size string you use, what size beads you use, you'll either see more of the string or only beads. So you can kind of play with that a little bit. And as I said, you can see a spiral forming as the beads go around. And that is how you do circular beaded crochet, the left-handed version. Finishing this, there's a few different ways to finish it. We'll actually do a separate video on how to finish this. So check for that video on how to finish circular bead crochet.